Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching GEEKCASTER. Everything sci-fi, fantasy, cosplay, gaming, need to know basis culture. How you guys doing today? I'm Michael, and today we've got virtually in the studio Dayveonne, Bussey.
I'm like, not know how to say it.
Corey Davis.
Hello.
Beautiful Diz, and a newcomer. Can you say you got about 50,000 AKAs and 20 million IGs? Tell everybody who you are, our wonderful guest today.
Hello, friends.
How's everything?
I'm doing well. How about you guys?
Doing good. Now we're going to talk about a bunch of things today. We got the Warrior Nun. We got Woo Assassins. We're going to talk a little bit about All American, the Black James Bond, and of course Xbox, because we also gave a lot of love last time to PlayStation. So we're going to talk about Xbox a little something. So we'll do that. But we're also going to try to sneak in a little controversial conversation about toxicity in the cosplay fandom.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So it's a lot. It's a lot. So let's start out with something I thought it was a news show, but you guys told me it wasn't. Woo Assassins. It seems like all of a sudden Netflix started to push it, but I thought it was something new. And Dayveonne put me on that. No, bruh, you are late to the party. So what do you think about Woo Assassins?
Start with Corey.
I actually got to the first episode, and I thought it was interesting. The first 15 minutes was like, what am I watching? But it progressed pretty well. It seems like a better teen drama than anything else. But so far, that's what I got from the first episode.
Okay.
The storyline looks like it's gonna be good. I also stopped at the first episode. I was like, right. I see what they're trying to do here.
Yeah.
I'm very, whatchamacallit? I'm in the tussle because certain martial arts shows that they do, it has to drag my attention. So I'm going to start watching it this weekend, but it had to grab my attention, or you had to have something to be like, give me that wow factor. And to me, it didn't give me that wow factor with the trailer or anything.
So I have a question. How am I late to the party, but yet
none of us
but I finished it before everybody else? How is that possible? And again, we're talking about Woo Assassins.
It was out, I think, 2 years ago.
No, 1
Went
year.
off a little bit.
2019, last August. So 11 months
August,
ago. About 10 months ago. It was interesting to see that all of a sudden Netflix is pushing it. It definitely fits where they're going, trying to highlight as many cultures and points of view storytelling as possible. It definitely gave that classic Western mixed in with spirituality. So it had a very old school kung fu movie feel, which you don't see that today. A lot of the kung fu movies are pretty much, you killed my brother, you stole my daughter, and let's find an excuse to fight. And it's usually a family member, right? Which Dayveonne put me on to the new, what's that guy's name again? Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx has something new. with basically same thing. They added a new element, like a superhero element, but it's the same thing. Somebody kidnapped my daughter. It's been done.
Project Power, you talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, but I need to know about it. I've never heard about it yet. Hold on.
Yeah. So, but before we go to that, yeah. So I think Wu Assassin's worth it as far as martial arts. If you are an aspiring stunt woman or martial arts actress, you should really watch this because the women are really kicking butt in this. I was very, very impressed. Again, you got to get to maybe episode 3. From episode 3 on, you know. But I like how they did it because they didn't just throw it at you all at once. There's one fight with 2 of the lead actresses in a kitchen that was amazing. So yeah, I would definitely recommend that if you're into martial arts choreography. All right, so what else we got? We also going to talk about, let's see, and I want to punch this up if I can, just in case someone's looking for this. This is what it looks like. Wu Assassins. Oh, pretty cool. And they got all the elements. They went that classic, almost was an ode to the 5 Deadly Venoms. And if you've seen that, you know what I'm talking about once you check that out. All right. Let's skip to Xbox and we'll go back to another content. Corey, you're super excited about this. Why?
I am super excited because last year at E3 they gave us the title of Project Scarlett when they unveiled it, and they said it was going to be 4 times as powerful as Xbox One, support 8K resolution, real-time ray tracing, and give us 120 frames per second rendering. And they did just that with Xbox Series X. So it's coming out this holiday season, holiday 2020. And so far, the launch titles for Xbox would be obviously Halo Infinite, which everybody is excited for, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, a new co-op shooter game called Outriders, and Yakuza Like a Dragon. And there's also going to be some other shared titles with PlayStation 5, such as Rainbow Six Siege and Fortnite, that's going to be released. Next week, the 23rd, they're going to announce other games and actual release dates and possibly a price for Xbox Series X that we don't have right now. But a lot of the confirmed titles would be Senua Saga Hellblade 2, which if you have not seen that trailer, I highly, highly recommend you watch that. A game called The Ascent, Battlefield 6, Bright Memory Infinite, Call of Duty Modern Warfare Warzone, which is what they're going to actually do to support the crossover that actually has a battle royale into the next gen consoles. A game called Call of the Sea, which will be a first-person puzzle. Of course, Cyberpunk 2077, Dirt 5 is a racing game, and a plethora of other games such as FIFA, Madden, and NHL 21. All these games have been confirmed for the holiday of 2021. So what what Xbox Series X is doing is something called Smart Delivery, where right now, and they'll be available for Xbox.
But you cut out. You said there's going to be a delivery system. Say that again. The delivery system.
Yes, it's going to be a smart delivery system. So if you buy games right now for your Xbox One, they'll be available on Xbox Series X. So you won't have to pay extra or get a new game. It'll just be a smart delivery. It'll cross over into the new system.
That's the future.
Speaking of that,
I'm glad they're doing that because it's getting hard for people, not only just economically, but just to store all these games.
Right.
That's always been a problem.
Storage for it. They actually have an expansion to add an extra 2 terabytes of extra memory on the game, but it already comes with 1 terabyte. So you can have all that memory on your game.
Wow.
And it's also going to be backwards compatible. So all the games for Xbox, Xbox 360, and Xbox One will work on the Xbox Series X.
Now, we spoke about that a couple months ago, Dayveonne, how they really need to be backward compatible because that kind of hurts everybody.
Exactly. Because you got people that has the old games or haven't played games that was like the original PS1 or PS2, and but they have the new system.
Right.
So, even though I'm going to call Corey a sellout, but anyway,
But you can do that with the new Xbox Series X. You can't do that with the PlayStation 5. You can only use PlayStation 4, possibly PlayStation 3.
Mm-hmm.
But with Xbox, you can use your original Xbox games on the Xbox Series X.
Wow. That's crazy. I'm looking forward to that. All right, well, Corey, since we got you in the hot seat, All-American, you were super amped on this show. I've never even heard about it. Quickly, why should we watch this? What is this about?
Why should you watch it? It's better than the other teen dramas that are not realistic. This is more realistic in a way where the stories of the characters are very, very relatable.
Okay.
And once you watch it, there's a lot of messages that occur to the current time of people going through stuff such as moving from one city to go to another city, being raised in a home with a single parent. The struggle.
By the way, it's hard to hear you a little bit. You sound like a jazz musician in the back of the club, like, "Hey, girl, you know I'm the saxophone player."
Can you hear me? Is that better?
A little bit. But you're saying overall this is more realistic.
Overall, more realistic and very, very relatable.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess here's something that's totally not realistic and relatable. Warrior Nun.
Warrior Nun.
Yes, Warrior Nun.
What's your take, Dayveonne?
Well, after watching episode 1, you know, at first I was like, what the heck is this? You know, but then after I'm watching episode 2, I started to get the gist of what's going on. And also where it's going.
Okay.
So it's more to like a secret organization that has nuns that basically take out supernatural demons that possess people's bodies. And I guess for last resort, I'm not going to spoil no. It's pretty much that's what the organization is. And I ain't going to spoil nothing. You just got to check it out for yourself.
Alba Baptista, I think, really did a really good job to carry this show as a lead actress. The very first episode, I could see people backing away, but when you just let it rock, because the tone is a very Brazilian style of writing, and if you watch any dubbed films, you could definitely, get the feel of it. But as you watch the show, it becomes more and more international. You're hearing French accents, Scottish. You're hearing people just all over the place, and I think they did a pretty good job. I thought she did really well, and Toya Turner. I don't know. I got to do more research on her, but she's holding it down too. She's proud Mary, a Mary with good 2 guns, aka Sister Mary. As far as cosplaying, I could see one of you ladies definitely being Sister Mary if we do have a New York Comic Con or any other cons coming up. But you will see Sister Mary. She did such a good job. Say it again. You're not going anywhere? Okay.
I love myself right now.
I hear you. I hear you. But it's a really good cast. Check that out. Definitely worth IMDbing because you will see these people again. I definitely feel that. And Wu Assassins is pretty good too. That was a really pretty good cast as well. A few hitters on that, but you can check those both out on Netflix. Definitely do that. Now, we were talking, what was it, about the Black James Bond, and I'm putting up a picture because the Black James Bond might be a woman.
Thank you.
Might be a woman. And the woman I just showed was Lashana Lynch. And there's been talk of her being the first female as well as the first Black James Bond. What do you guys think?
Well, I was telling y'all from the get go that it wasn't going to be Idris Elba because, first and foremost, he even said it's not going to happen. He would like for it to happen, but it's not going to happen. And then when they did this latest James Bond movie, they introduced her as part of the organization with the bonds. So it's like a good transition. It's a breath of fresh air. So that's the best way I could put it.
Is that an excuse to just make her a 008 or a 011 rather than giving her the title as James Bond?
Ew.
I'll let somebody, y'all want me to speak on this?
Yeah, because you just can't come out of nowhere and become a 007. You actually have to earn it. So, depending on what they do with the character in this movie, that's yet to be seen.
Gotcha.
Or they could just do a sequel. I mean, a setup, basically the transition into being James Bond or being 007.
Well, that would be new for the series because no one's ever transitioned into James Bond. There's always been, oh, we have a new James Bond, and this is his new persona. They've just appeared out of nowhere. Yeah. They've never had an actual transition. So this would be a first if this actually happens that way.
Because that's why I see it. It's going to happen because it's going to be James Bond origins.
I mean, with the climate and the things going on, they might give us two. They might give us two Black Bonds.
That's fair.
You never know. You never know. All right. Well, we'll see what happens with that. But let's do a transition and let's talk about cosplay. Now, again, say your cosplay name and your IGs, ladies.
Sailor Leone cosplay. So it's Sailor like Sailor Moon, Leone like Sierra Leone cosplay.
And I'm Beautiful Diz, known as Beautiful Disaster. My IG is Beautiful Diz 1, since I have a new page.
Now, for the sake of the show, because you both have long things, what can we just call you quickly as we do the rest of it? Say it again.
Diz.
Say it one more time.
Diz.
I liked your video this morning. You're great. Wow, my heart.
Oh, thank you.
I was like, you better do this. Yes, dragons. We love it.
So, Sailor Leone, first of all, how'd you get into cosplay? And once you got there, when's the first time you were hit with the toxicity in cosplay?
Kind of like six months to a year in. I first started cosplaying around 2014. I had a friend. I go to VCU, so we have a cosplay club, and they take us to Katsucon and help us get a room and all that stuff. So I think I went to Katsucon 2015. Before that, a lot of my friends cosplayed. A lot of guys I dated went to conventions for like video games. And once I heard of it, I was kind of like, oh snap, I got to do it, because I've been reading manga since middle school, watching anime since I was super young. My parents definitely had the Funimation channel for me, so I was living my best life forever. But I guess like once I got into the cosplay community, I wasn't plus size at the time, actually. But I was still a darker skinned cosplayer. I was still a woman. I was still black. And those are things that you will definitely get some backlash on once you start cosplaying. I even remember I stopped posting on Facebook, and I never ever posted on Reddit because I just wanted to avoid the drama or someone bashing my cosplay or someone saying it's the N-word version of this thing, or then someone saying that, you know, Mary Jane looks like she makes good mac and cheese because of how big her arms are. So it kind of goes in a bunch of different ways towards where there is toxicity and where it hits. But also clout chasing is real, and people thinking that because another person's very high in the cosplay community that they can do anything, and everyone's supposed to fold for them.
So I would say Diz, the
personality.
same thing. How did you get into cosplay, and what was the first? I guess your toes being wet and seeing the toxicity in cosplay.
You have to say. Oh shoot.
Oh, I started. Well, I started a long time ago. I didn't even know that cosplay even existed. I started modeling, and what I used to do is like to wear costumes. So I used to like to do themes and things like that. And I discovered Comic Con existed, and I started going at Storm. And what I noticed was when I was going, I didn't really have too many options to do other characters because you had to kind of stick with a black character, unless you wanted to be harassed, especially back then. I mean, now it's gotten a lot better, but like 10 years ago, I was Storm, and I could only be Storm. Because if you were any other black character, no one knew who you were. So you had that to go with. So Storm was like the biggest, black female cosplay at the time. So I stuck with that for a good 6 or 7 years due to a lot of harassment I got. You would get you're pretty for a black girl. You would you get all these type of things. I even recently, I went as Poison Ivy because I started to get out of that. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to continue to do Storm. I'm going to do other characters and try to get out of that. And the first thing I did was I did Poison Ivy. And while I was at a convention, a lady was like, oh, your costume looks great. Can I take a picture of you? And I'm like, sure. I'm thinking everything's good. And then she takes a picture and she goes, I can't wait to show my friends this. They say that black people they can't play any other characters. And you look actually good. I'm going to show them all that, you look good as Poison Ivy. There really aren't too many black people that look good outside of them. I'm like, what? So you get to hear a lot of negativity. And to top it off, you don't get as many opportunities doing anything outside of your race. So you're not really allowed to. Like I did, not that you're not allowed to, but you're not going to go places unless you stick to where you're supposed to kind of be, technically, from what society's telling you. So me being Storm, I got opportunities to do so many things. I got booked from Marvel. I did a shoot with Howard Stern. I did so many different things. But any other nationality character that I've done, nothing. Flatline. It doesn't get recognized as a true character because your ethnicity, you can't really do too much. So it's a very toxic thing, and you don't really even know it until you end up being attacked. I've seen message boards with me attacking. The same way she said Reddit. That's another place where it's a very backlash type of thing going on. So yeah, there's a lot of negativity in especially anime. Jeez, don't get started on anime.
Wow.
It's funny because I also started off with Storm. I did Storm for so long. Storm was my favorite character. I want to do every version of Storm. But just like you, my Wakandan Storm is one of my biggest cosplays. But I've definitely put way more work into a lot of other builds. But they're gonna see, especially African-based culture cosplays. They do really well for me too. Especially after Black Panther.
Yep, my top are Storm and Domino.
Oh yeah, girl, you're Domino.
Those are the two top I have. But none of the other characters I've done have really gone to those lengths, and I believe it's probably because I'm a black cosplayer playing another character that's not supposed to be played. Now,
Dayveonne, you got a little bit of this when you did Scott Pilgrim, right?
Ooh.
Yeah. Yes, I dressed up as Scott Pilgrim. It wasn't no backlash. It was more compliments. But it was more like, okay, nobody's going to recognize me or know who I am. Because I decided to dress up as a Canadian white guy. The only issue they had with me was the wig. Because it was scruffy. That's pretty much it. What other issues do y'all fall into as cosplayers besides the harassment? Is there sexual harassment, stuff like that goes on that y'all deal with from day to day? And did y'all ever experience that?
I do go first.
Me waiting for her waiting for me. So to start off, what I would say is anything that we already face in real life is amplified in the cosplay community. There's levels of the same type of discrimination you will have in normal day to day in the cosplay community. I actually asked on Twitter what would be toxic traits in the cosplay community, what about the Black cosplay community, and some girls wrote to me, they're like, I don't really like how people treat plus size Black cosplayers at all. It always feels like we have to be conventionally and conveniently attractive to either receive recognition or respect at all. And that's true. I feel like I fit half and half, where I can be conventionally attractive, like right now, but then other times I'm chilling with a head wrap on. People are calling me the fat, ugly Black girl. You know what I mean? Bald-headed Black girl. Like, someone called me that, and I was like, damn, I have hair. I just like to wear head wraps. But, if I'm not presenting as someone that is attractive or someone that someone can sleep with, your work is like nothing. And it kind of shows also in like your following. I've been doing this for a while, as I said, but I know people who just started and may not do as much as other people who are darker skinned or plus size, but they will skyrocket because of, conventional beauty and, societal beauty standards. I think what most people want is the fact that we recognize it and understand where it comes from or why it's there and how to like dismantle it. Someone else said that toxic issues in cosplay as a whole were racism, transphobia, fatphobia, and colorism. All very apparent and all very pushed to the side when spoken about. Same thing in the Black community. If a dark-skinned girl speaks up about things like colorism, we're just haters. And I definitely have gotten that before, where it's like, oh, well, why don't you just work harder? Well, why don't you see what they're doing? Why don't you do it? And it's just like, what's the difference? Like, what makes their content worth it to someone else based on,
Ms. Diz?
Well, I've gone through things here and there, but like she said, it's blended in kind of what we deal with as women on a daily basis. It's sometimes just a little magnified there. I've been fortunate where I've gone with groups of people, so I've never been touched or anything like that, because I've always had. Back in the day, I used to have my ex with me, who was a really, really big guy. So most of the time, he went like my bodyguard almost. So I never really had situations that were extreme, thank God. But yeah, of course you get harassment. You get, there's a lot of things that happen that you don't expect. You just really want to enjoy dressing up as your favorite character, or just enjoy the convention, or getting to meet people who share common interests with you. And it's very shocking. Like, I really haven't been in the community, so to speak, for very many years, because I kind of stick to myself. I'm a friendly person. If someone comes and says hi to me, I'll speak to them back. But I kind of stick to my own little world. And just recently, I started kind of branching out and getting to know people and other individuals in the cosplay community. And there's some really wonderful, sweet people, but there are also some people that in it for clout, and some not very friendly people that you run into that you don't expect to behave the way certain people behave. It's a big disappointment, unfortunately. I wish a lot of people can just get along, and we all are in it. We all are in it because we love it. Well, I can't even say all, but most people are in it because they love it. There's some people in it for other reasons.
Let's hold that right there. Let's do a part 2. We're going to continue with this, as well as go into rumors and also Black Lives Matter from a geek perspective. All right? So, if you're watching GeekCaster. And hold on to your seats, ladies and gentlemen. There's more.